John Griff, Through the Afternoon, BBC Radio Northampton.
Without a word of a lie, I put together some CDs recently for my car. My car has a CD player in it. I can't play stuff off Bluetooth, off my phone, like plenty of current generation cars do. So I was going through my collection, a few weeks ago, and I thought, I'll get that on. I'll get that on. I'll get that on. I definitely wanted to get this on. Not knowing that a few weeks later, the performer of the song would be live in my studio. He's about to walk in.
Changing, there's a new star in my sky. Got a reason for celebration. This time. I can't tell you why, but it's no lie. I'm on a natural high. She's got a love that's good for me. It's like sugar for the soul, and every day it's a little more sweet, just like sugar for the soul. I found someone that goes much deeper, always keeps me satisfied. Like an angel, she'll be my healer tonight.
Balsamo, Sugar for the Soul, back to 2002, would you believe? Now, I was working at a different radio station at the time, but I have to say, I got the album, I got the single, I kept it in my collection, and that literally is in the car at the moment as part of my best-ofs. So everybody is allowed to have their own. He's now going to run from the studio because he thinks he's got a stalker on the radio. Not the case. Good afternoon, Rosalie Deighton and Steve Balsamo. Lovely to have you both in the studio.
Thanks for having us.
Balsamo Deighton is the name of a duet. It's a project, but the two of you have known each other for years.
Too long now. It's been 15 years and 4 years making this record.
4 years making a record. Only Seal makes records that take longer than that.
Well, we were both really busy. We were writing the songs, and I was on tour with another band, and Steve was working with John Lord. So trying to get together, living in different parts of the country was a challenge, but we've done it, and we're dead chuffed.
So what is the idea, Steve, between the duet form between the two of you? Because you worked in a band before. I mean, you set up the stories. Rosalie became part of the stories.
That's right.
Now here's the two of you out on your own. This isn't like Jackie Abbott and Paul Heaton from Beautiful South going out and doing their own thing, is it?
No. Although we love those. They're fantastic. We wanted to make an album. When the stories came to an end, it was kind of a tough thing because we had so much fun and we toured for like 7 years. So Rosie and I decided that we wanted to write some songs. So we gently did it and worked with a guy called Julian Wilson initially. He was in a band called Grand Drive. At his South London studio, we started very gently, and it was more of a cathartic process after the band split up. And then we realised we had some really lovely, intimate, beautiful songs that were very moving. Well, I thought they were anyway. I know you didn't.
She's giggling her head off at the moment at that.
But then we just put the album together and made the record, you know, and we're, as Rosie said, we're really proud because it's a beautiful sound.
So is this one of those cases of people who have an end goal but things keep getting in the way until you can actually find some studio time, some mixing time, some finishing time, if you like, to actually bring the product out? This has had a heck of a long gestation period.
Yeah, but again, nobody was waiting for the record. We just wanted to do it and see where it went. There was no expectation at all other than trying to write some lovely songs. But we've had a lovely time. It's been one of the loveliest experiences.
But this is something, I mean, you're not doing this just for yourselves, clearly. You're doing this to spread the word to existing fans, new fans. I mean, the stables in Wavendon this evening. The album is out. You've done videos for it. I mean, this is full budget stuff. This isn't a shot in the dark. This has been coming for some time.
Well, the album's out next February, actually, John. But we're at the stables tonight, which we love. We love that venue. But we've literally, when we started, it was a very gentle process. And then we thought, hang on, we've got something really good here. So then we started to look at how to take it to market. So we initially started a pledge music campaign. We had some funding from the Welsh Arts Council, which was amazing in the beginning. And then we signed a record deal with a German label. So it's all kind of very organic, though. There was no real master plan until recently. We thought, right, now we're going to do it. Let's press the button. Let's go.
Is it difficult when you've got to work as hard as you have to get the funding together, to get all the ducks in a row pointing in the right direction, to then get to the point where you can actually do the process of making the music? That must be a real frustration.
It has been frustrating, getting the money together and getting friends, you know, doing things for favours. You don't always like doing that, but we've had amazing support from friends and, you know, musicians playing on the record, people outside externally helping us. I mean, it's been amazing. There's a lot of love for this, and we really feel it, feel it.
Both of you have got fantastic accents when you talk. Both of you have got international backgrounds. Clearly we can hear the Welsh in you, Steve, but your father was from Venice?
My father's Venetian, Italian. My mother was Welsh, lover, and so I grew up listening to Mario Lanza and Jim Reeves. And when I look back, interestingly, I've thought about it. When I look back, you know, the way that kind of my career's gone, it has been country music and kind of operatic stuff. So it's been a weird.
I love you because with a high tenor voice, would go really well. Rosalie, you have international parents too.
My mother's Indonesian, but we grew up in Holland. My dad's from Yorkshire. That's the international part.
That's where we can hear the Yorkshire coming through in the voice.
And when I spent so much time in Swansea, I have a really thick Swansea accent.
Is that where you did the recording? Was Wales where you actually put the tracks down?
Most of it. Swansea and London. Yeah.
Your voices, as we will hear, because I'm about to play the single, they intertwine superbly. I was listening to the album. It arrived yesterday. I've listened to it in the car 3 times back to back since to hear all the various styles of music that you've got in there. And there's everything from power ballads to rock to the most cut back 2 guitar, 2 voice work.
Yeah.
How do you make your voices intertwine as well as you do? Because there are points where it's almost impossible to tell who's taking the melody, who's taking the harmony, because they're so close together.
It's called the rub, and I think it's because we've spent so much time in each other's company singing, and even more so recently
driving.
We've become one. I think it's quite scary.
You are a 2-headed animal in your own right in that case.
Yeah, but it's you know, testimony to a great producer in Tim Hamill and Ben Robbins, great friends of ours. And the songwriting team, some of the Stories songwriting team, Andy Collins especially, who was one of the main songwriters of the Stories, came on board and helped us write a bunch of this stuff. So we're harking back to what came before us, what we did together and what's coming, really. And so there's a mixture of all sorts of stuff.
All right, now you've said that the album is out in February. Having said that, I have got an advanced copy of it here in the studio, which has allowed me to listen to all the various songs and all the various pieces in order. Light in the Dark is going to be the lead-off single, correct?
It is indeed, yeah.
Okay, let's have a listen to it now, then you'll see what I mean about those intertwining voices. See what you think. First single to come from Unfolding, this is Balsamo Deighton.
I'll shine a light in the dark. I'll find your heart and ignite it. Gonna find out just who we are. flick of a switch. I don't know which way to turn. Is this light of love all that we know? Can you let me in to let it go? 'Cause I'll take the last hit for you. I will shine a light in the dark. I will find your heart and ignite it. Gonna find out just who we are. I will shine a light in the dark. We go to sleep, dreams stop breathing. Want you to wake. What does it take to make your eyes wide? Is this light of love all that we know? Can you let me in to let it go? 'Cause I'll take the last hit for you. I will shine a light in the dark. I will find your heart and ignite it. Gonna find out just who we are. I will shine a light in the dark. I will find your heart, get excited. Gonna find out just who we are. I will shine a light in the dark. I will shine a light. Dark is no reason to walk behind so light. Maybe one day I'll be everything, everything for you. I will shine a light in the dark. I will find your heart and ignite it. Gonna find out just who we are. Oh, just who we are. I will shine a light in the dark. I will find your heart, get excited. Gonna find out just who we are. I will shine a light in the dark. I will shine a light. I will shine a light in the dark.
That's the lead-off single to the new album from Balsamo Deighton. It's Steve and Rosalie who are in the studio with me this afternoon. Lovely to have that playing to the general public for the first time, because you must have been sitting on this thinking, it's good. We know it's good. We just want to let it out to the general public. And now you're taking the songs live to the audience. Is that an excitement for you, or is it a relief?
Oh, it's both. It's both, and we just it's weird. They're like our babies, I suppose, and we just want to make sure that they get the love and recognition that we think they deserve.
Yeah, that's right.
This is just starting, isn't it? Because as far as our understanding of what you do, you've been on the case for a decade. But as far as we're concerned, this is a new sound. What's the early acceptance and the early reaction to your music together been so far?
Oh, it's been wonderful, actually. Really, I don't think we've had anything negative. It's just been love.
It's been like, yeah, and the amount of work we put into it, John, seems to be reflected back. And as Rosie said earlier on, the amount of people who came around and supported us and played on the record and kind of brought their talent to it. A record is not just one person's vision. It becomes an accumulation of everybody's talent.
That is very obviously a pop song. It is a popular song.
Yeah.
If you delve into the album in February, when it comes out, it's called Unfolding, you will find that there are darker themes that you explore. It's not all boy meets girl and they go off into the sunset. There's a lot of pain. There's a degree of anger in some of the lyrics.
You're pointing at me. Yes, it's my therapy.
Well, you seem to take the harmony, the melody on most of them.
The really kind of sad, the downside of love. Yeah, that's my therapy.
Heartbroken a few times?
Just a few, maybe.
Gives you good material to
It's the
to write
only
from.
reason I put myself through it. So I have a body of work. I don't know what else to do.
Talk about suffering for your art in that case. With the album coming up in February, this is early doors, of course. But what is the process? What's the game plan for you? You've got to the point of producing the album, which we will have next year. Here you are doing the promotion of it, getting the music out to the public in person. That's now going on. What's the longer term future? Because Steve, you've had a recording contract track recording career already. I played it from 2002.
That's right.
You've been up on stage as Jesus Christ Superstar.
That's right.
You made Andrew Webber cry.
I did, because he had to pay me so much. No, it's not true. It's not
That's
true.
it.
He makes me cry.
So we're hoping that the reaction will be as positive as we, feel that the record deserves, as Rosie said. We're going to get out and play as much as we can, because tonight we're going to be playing the songs. Literally, we played them a few times, but relearning the songs after having recorded them in a studio is for me, is a very tough thing. Remembering chords and words. As you can see, we've got the words in front of us.
But it's a
They're
performance
brand new.
with a live audience. That you're going to be staring into their eyes.
Indeed, and getting the reaction from the songs, that's the magic for me. That's where the alchemy exists, all of that.
You're a prolific songwriter. You've worked with all kinds of people. You've written for Meatloaf, haven't you?
Meatloaf recorded one of my songs, love him, and I thought, God, we'll buy a house in the south of France, and the poor bloke had a heart attack on stage that year, so the house in the south of France went.
That's disappeared for the time being.
For the time being.
But you also worked with John Lord.
That's right, yeah.
There's an
occasionally.
interesting connection there, because John Lord worked with Malcolm Arnold, who came from this town.
That's right.
When he was writing orchestral work off the Deep Purple side of things. But how did you get to work with John Lord from Deep Purple?
We were part of a thing called the Sunflower Jam. John's wife, Vicky, and her sister, Jackie Pace, who's married to Ian Pace, run this thing called the Sunflower Jam, which provides specialist care for cancer patients. So I was invited to sing as part of that concert, and the great and the good were around, all sorts. John heard me at one of the shows and said, "Dear boy, would you like to come and tour with me around the world and drink some nice wine?" I said, "Yeah, when are we going?" He said, "Pack your bags." So that was it. 5 years around the world until John died about 2.5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Love him. He was a gentleman and a monster.
What did you learn from somebody who's been there for such a long time and has done so much, but also who got out of really heavy rock, orchestral pieces that stand up there with any classic?
Absolutely. Firstly, he was a consummate musician, absolute consummate musician. So every time I got to write some songs with him. I sat in a room and wrote a dozen songs with John before he died. So that was amazing to see the process there as a songwriter. Humility, very nice guy. And, we were in Eastern Europe with some orchestras that hadn't learnt the piece. I'd never saw him lose his cool. So it was a very interesting, somebody who'd been at the top of his profession for 40 years or so, was one of the nicest people I've ever met. So humility and being cool, always be nice.
Rosie, he's a prolific writer. We heard that already. You and your work, how much of a battle was it to get equality, if you like, on the album? Because presumably he could just drop a song in any time he likes. How much argument was there?
Rosie's more prolific than I am.
Really?
Yeah.
So I haven't seen any sleeve notes as to who's written what for the album itself. How much of this is you? How much of this is Steve?
It's 50-50. I mean, I've been writing since I can remember, since I was 13. I've had solo record deals and stuff, and that's how we've met through some producers. So, but I write all the time. We joke about it. It's my therapy. So Steve gets bombarded with ideas on a daily basis.
Literally, I was waking up from a dream the other morning, and Rosie was in my front room, kind of singing some songs, and they, to come out of the dream into the song. So I came in, made a cup of tea. So I've got a half of that now.
Nice. Wait until the royalties come out.
Exactly.
I mean, does it come from noodling around? Do you have particular influences? Things. I mean, do you see something on the telly? Do you see something from your own personal experience and think, that's a great riff that I can put to that, or that's a great lyric that I could expand on?
Yeah, I mean, I eavesdrop on people's conversations a lot of the time as well, and people say interesting things in cafes, and I write things down, and then I also take on what's going on in my life and my friends' lives. And
so you're an observer as well as observed in that
yes.
case. Social media is a wonderful thing. I mean, lots of people are going to be hearing the music in the near future. What for you is more challenging is the word I suppose I want to use. Is it more challenging to be up in front of people for whom you are going to be delivering songs that they won't have heard before? Or is it more challenging getting them recorded just the way you want them so that you can then send them out on an album?
I think it's 50-50. It's the biggest challenge is sitting in a car for 12 hours getting
back
to
to
a
the
gig.
travel again.
That is the biggest challenge.
There's a lot of hurry up and wait in any entertainment industry. It's hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
But we can't ever split up because we know too much about each other. That's basically it.
Oh, so there's going to be his autobiography, her autobiography, she said, he said, and we'll see you in court.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
You got it, John.
Lovely. lovely. I love where this is going. We're going to take a break for travel in a moment or two, so we'll take that, and then I'm going to get you to play live. And there's a particular reason why I want you to play a particular track, because having only got the album and none of the sleeve notes that go with it, I'm coming to the music exactly as the general public would. There are some fantastic lyrics within your writing. You've got, both of you, fantastic voices that interlock and intertwine so easily. Unfolding is the title of the album. Why is that the title of the album? What is Unfolding?
Unfolding was one of the first ideas that Rosie and I started to write with a guy called Julian Wilson from Grand Drive. When we were looking at the lyrics, when we played in the stories, there was a guy and his son used to come and watch us play a lot, and the son was a soldier and he was off to Afghanistan. Unfortunately, he died in Afghanistan. His father came to one of our shows with a representative from his squadron and took one of our songs in the stories to be played at the funeral. So a tragic story. We were moved beyond belief that we were part of that unfolding, if you like. So the title track is basically our reaction to that whole thing and that whole story and that whole unfolding.
Amazing that should be the anecdote that leads us into live performance from Balsamo Deighton, particularly on Armistice Day. You'll hear from Steve and from Rosie in a moment or two.
Northampton.
Here this afternoon are Steve Balsamo and Rosalie Deighton. They are together, Balsamo Deighton. We've asked them whether or not they could play the title track of their album. You've just heard the setup. I will ask you to consider very carefully the lyrics that you are about to hear, because they are very personal and they are entirely appropriate for this time and this particular day. Steve and Rosalie.
I'm right here on the table. I've a cross upon a seal. I'm not ready to be opened, be unfolding. I'm in trouble. I'm a writer. I'm not saying what I feel. I would rather this would never be unfolding. We all need here's a little reason what I see when I look around. I'm not gonna swear I'll be there. I'm a speck on the horizon. I'm a smile upon a reel. I'm not asking to be what is unfolding. What we all need is a little reason. What I see when I look around, I'm not gonna swear I'll be there. I'm a soldier in a line, but I'm still shining bright. But I'm ready to belong, be unfolding. See you sitting around the table. I'll be home by and by. If you're ready, leave a light on. I'm on.
unfolding.
Title track from the new album to come from Balsamo Deighton. Steve and Rosalie live in the studio. That is the title track of the album. You've heard the lead-off single already. I don't know about anybody else, but the hairs on the back of my neck went up whilst you were playing that. Absolutely superb.
Thanks, Sean,
That interplay between your voices is quite remarkable. And at one point you were noodling away. People will have thought that it was actually Rosalie singing. It was you, because your voice really does go very high.
You can go to the dusty end, definitely. Depending on what time of day it is, it's in the dusty.
And if it's late at night, it'll go even higher. Believe you me. What a real pleasure to have you both in.
Thank you so much.
Stables in Waven this evening. What time are you going to be up on stage?
8:45.
8:45, and obviously giving people an idea of what the album is
Yes.
going to sound like. It's an acoustic set that you're saying playing, so for me, where I've heard the big pieces, if you like, with the big accompaniments, it's a cutback version of that performance.
Yes, and we've got Andy Collins and Alan Thomas, who used to be in the stories with us. They're coming to play tonight, so it's going to be good.
Rosie, Steve, the album sounds absolutely superb. Get it in February. Don't worry, we'll remind you in time for February so that you can get hold of a copy of it. Get ready for the first single to come out from... When's the single releasing?
I think it's going to be the first week of January.
Okay.
I think about then.
All right, well, the single is called Light in the Dark. If you've got the time this evening, if you are looking for a great night out, there is now an invitation. Go along and see Stevie and Rosalie in action. Balsamo Deighton at the Stables in Waven tonight. Thanks so much indeed for taking time out today.
Thank you very much.